Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Riding Roller Coasters with No Restraint, the series on YouTube where we ride roller coasters with no restraint. And you know, there is so many different roller coasters out there, and theme parks for that matter. And you're probably not asking, what theme park am I going to do for the 5th installation of this series? In this series so far, we've done Cedar Point, Kings Island, Six Flags, Magic Mountain, and Wonderland. And for the 5th installation of the series, the theme park that I will be doing is, drumroll please. I said drumroll please. I'll just do it. The Six Flags Great Adventure Resort. And would you look at that, they have 3 green roller coasters. Too bad, supposedly 2 of them are going away next year. That makes me sad. So before we start this video, I have to go over what do I mean when I say riding a roller coaster with no restraint. Well, in this video, I'm taking my best educated guess to find out if we can actually ride this roller coaster with no restraint. That means no over-the-shoulder restraint, no lap bar, no seatbelt, no nothing. We're not holding on to anything. We're just letting gravity do its thing. And also one more thing here, you know, don't really, you keep this between you and me, y'all, but don't tell anyone that most of these aren't possible, but don't tell anyone, that's a spoiler. But anyways, that's all for me to say about it. Let's get into it. Riding Six Flags Great Adventures roller coasters with no restraint, starting now. Starting the list off strong with a classic being Batman the Ride, located at literally any Six Flags park. Nevertheless, a staple here at Great Adventure. And unfortunately, it's not gonna make it onto the Alive category. The ride starts off strong, going up that lift hill to be sure to keep you in your seat. And I even feel like if you're in the back rows of the train, you could probably stay in your seat down that first drop, and of course do that vertical loop as it's very forceful. However, if that first drop didn't quite get you, the 0G roll will. Without a restraint, that will sure to be sending you out of your seat. And that, of course, is something that we do not want, making our first roller coaster on the list, Batman the Ride, to not be doable. So unfortunately, we're going to have to put Batman the Ride into the dead category. Next one, please.
Why so serious?
The next roller coaster we have on our list is the Dark Knight Coaster, an indoor thematic Wild Mouse type ride that I'm not so personally sure if it's doable or not. Wild Mouse type roller coasters are hard to judge when they come to this because they don't go that fast, but it's the maneuvers that they do that get a little questionable. Another thing that this ride has going for itself that's different than the other type of Wild Mouse ride similar to it is that it's completely enclosed in darkness. The only things you can see really well in that show building are the lit up props. But other than that, losing your sense of sight in a challenge such as this is really crucial for trying to stay in your seat without a restraint. But something going positively for this attraction is the ride vehicle. Not only are those walls tall, they have some width to it, keeping the passengers in the train. But for me personally, I feel like if you know what you're doing and you know the attraction layout for this one, I feel like you might be able to get away with it. Others might not be so lucky, but I feel like it's that 50-50 mix that makes me want to put it into the alive but hurt category. It might be possible, it might not. It depends on how experienced of a coaster rider you are. A roller coaster named after a bowl is not what we're really looking for when it comes to a video about riding roller coasters with no restraints. I'll give you a visual demonstration of what this ride achieves.
Can't get much worse than this.
Hello, neighbor.
Oh no.
It's Green Lantern. Oh my gosh, we're roommates. How crazy is that?
Does anyone have some kryptonite that they could give me?
The next roller coaster we have on our list is Green Lantern, and Green Lantern has something different going on than other roller coasters at the park. Most of the time when you're riding a roller coaster, you're in the sit-down position, sitting down in your seat. However, with Green Lantern at Great Adventure, you're actually in a stand-up position, a huge rarity on a lot of roller coasters these days. Luckily, with other roller coasters, you would still have a seat to sit down in if you were riding it with no restraint, but unfortunately for Green Lantern, there's not even a seat to begin with. You're just standing there with absolutely nothing. The only thing you would be able to have while riding is that base. The whole restraint structure behind you will be completely missing. And I kind of guess if you were good at, balancing and really good at surfing and by all means riding a roller coaster with no restraint, then I guess you could technically do it, but I feel like for the, average person, I think it's gonna end up in the dead category, as some would say. Ladies and gentlemen, sound those alarms because I believe I found our first ride to make it into the alive category. Fortunately for us, Harley Quinn's Crazy Train is a child's roller coaster, and usually that means we can actually ride the attraction with no restraint. All this ride really has are these shallow turns with slow speeds, allowing us to be in our seats throughout the attraction. There's also no way this ride doesn't hold the record for the world's longest roller coaster train. I mean, look at this thing. But other than that, this ride is a kid's coaster, which is good for us because it usually means we can ride it without a restraint, and in this case, we definitely can. So we can go ahead and put our first roller coaster into the alive category. This is pretty cool.
Coming to Six Flags Great Adventure, the Jersey Devil Coaster.
The next one on our list is Jersey Devil Coaster, an RMC Raptor style roller coaster. Now, if you've ever ridden a Raptor roller coaster, or technically anything from RMC, you probably know how this is going to go.
How about we celebrate with some laughing gas?
Here's a roller coaster you've probably seen on the internet at least 42 times by now, is the one and only
Joker Free Fly Coaster.
Now, a lot of coaster enthusiasts out there don't actually enjoy these types of attractions. I don't know, it doesn't please them or serve them well. But you gotta remember that these rides like Joker at Great Adventure are not competing for the world's biggest and best roller coasters. And a lot of times you hear coaster enthusiasts say, oh, Joker sucks because it's not as good as, you know, Fury 325. No sh**. Of course it's not as good as Fury 325. That's completely out of its league. It's like a way different competitor. Sorry, did I get sidetracked again? What were we doing? We were, oh, no restraints. Oh, this one isn't possible. I had to watch this POV dozens of times to actually figure out if it was possible or not, but after a lot of consideration, I'm going to determine it to be not possible and has to be put into the dead category. We're running out of space over here.
How many coasters in the world are like it? 0. Come out and experience.
The next ride on our list is Kingda Ka, the world's tallest roller coaster, and who knows, by the time you see this video, it might not be anymore. Story time here. You might not notice this as much as I do because I make these videos, but you can tell when I film at day and film at night. I'm filming at night right now, and you can tell because of this yellowy tint you see on the screen. It might be not noticeable for you, but it's very noticeable for me, and I absolutely hate it, and it sucks. I need to get, like, better lighting, as some would say. Sorry, what were your Kingda Ka? It could be possible, maybe. Well, let's take a look. Now, I'm no scientist, but I feel like you could actually make it to the end of the launch track on Kingda Ka because you're just accelerating forward. You might be accelerating super fast, but I think you could possibly, you know, make it. Maybe. Unfortunately, I don't think it's lasting long, as when your ride vehicle turns 90 degrees, you're going to probably fly out because that's what happens on roller coasters with no restraint. I'm fixing my lighting situation. I'm going to Kroger to buy some light bulbs. This is a million times better. Ladies and gentlemen, sound those alarms. We found a roller coaster that we can ride with no restraint at Great Adventure. It may have taken a little bit, but we finally found it, a ride we can ride with no restraint. It may be a kiddie coaster, but anything counts, and I'll take it. The layout consists of a curved drop, a helix, and a turn into the station, and that's about it. After being so far into this video, I'm happy that we finally found a ride that is able to go into the Alive category. And I just realized I completely forgot about Harley Quinn also being in the Alive category. I'm not that smart.
You looked into my eyes. Your path now leads to the gates of doom.
The next ride on our list is Medusa, originally opening as Medusa in '99, then getting transformed into Bizarro the superhero, or supervillain, if you would call that, and then back to Medusa in 2022. Fun fact, these bolts I have here are actually from the ride. I don't know where they were, I just found them in the infield one day, and I took them home, and then, yeah. Now, Medusa is going to be an interesting one because I believe you can make it further into the layout than you might possibly think. Of course, you'll make it up that lift hill, and I do believe you'll make it down that small little pre-drop as well. I was slightly thinking of the chance that you might be able to make it down the first drop, but after further review, I don't believe so at all now. But on the off chance, let's say you actually did make it down that first drop, you would also be able to make it through the vertical loop because of the positive G's pushing you into your seat. And even though it does look like you have a lot of speed going into that dive loop, I just fully don't believe that you'll be able to stay in your seat through it. I don't have enough faith in Medusa. Sorry, Medusa, we're gonna have to put you into the dead category with literally everything else down here as well.
With Nitro, our biggest coaster ever.
Arguably one of the best roller coasters here at Six Flags Great Adventure is Nitro, a B&M hypercoaster. Unfortunately, hypercoasters usually mean getting absolutely thrown out of your seat. Unfortunately, there's just no way for the human body to stay in the seat while it goes over these airtime hills, so Nitro is going to have to end up, like with every other roller coaster here, basically into the dead category.
Howdy, partners!
For your safety, remain seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs.
The oldest operating roller coaster at Great Adventure, Runaway Mine Train, is a classic. A lot of people love it, or a lot of people hate it. Regardless on how much you like it, this one is a very interesting one to talk about when it comes to this. Runaway Mine Train is a simple mine train roller coaster, and I believe that it is rideable without a restraint. Basically, the entire layout of this attraction is just meandering through the woods, and it really doesn't do anything too crazy. The only thing I'm cautious about on this ride is the airtime hill right here, but if you just sit towards the back, I think you'll be plenty okay. Just don't fall in the water at the end, and you should be able to ride this one. The next one on our list is Skull Mountain, the second indoor roller coaster Great Adventure has to offer. It's rare for a park to even have one indoor roller coaster, and for Great Adventure to have two, that is kind of surprising for it being a Six Flags park. But even though you're losing your sense of direction with it being an indoor roller coaster, I have good news for you, is that it is possible to be completed without a restraint. As long as you sit towards the front of the train, you should be perfectly fine. The darkness makes it feel like it's going a lot faster than it is, but I assure you that it's not going that fast. This is pretty cool because this is the second roller coaster in a row we can put into the Alive category.
Wow, it's Batman, and he's at my house.
Finally, the last roller coaster on our list is Superman Ultimate Flight, a B&M flying roller coaster. And I have good news for you, is that this ride will not go into the dead category. So you're going to fall out of your seat, but you're not going to die as you're falling like 2 feet off the ground. So Superman Ultimate Flight can be placed into the Alive but Hurt category here at Great Adventure. So we can take our Superman Ultimate Flight and put it into the Alive but Hurt category. So here we are, all 14 operating roller coasters here at Great Adventure for Alive category, Alive but Hurt, and of course the dead category. Here is the list. We finally did it. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I'm gonna go to bed, it's late, and yeah, thanks for watching. You are super cool, and I will catch you in the next one. See you later.